Hi, Christine Knox here, and I am delighted today to interview the wonderful Mette Sorensen. She's the founder and CEO of Mette's Institute of Bodywork and Personal Development. She's born in Denmark and moved to Australia with her husband Jorgen in 1994 and has trained more than 5,000 students to be highly respected and rewarded therapists and professional coaches. Mette believes that we are all unique individuals and that the learning experiential and should be holistic, integrating the body language, body awareness and communication skills with natural therapies. I'm sure you're going to love this interview that I have with her as she talks us through the essence of kahuna massage and the Heartworks Lomi courses, women's retreat and leadership and facilitation training that she does there at her international massage school, the High Spirits Retreat. I loved talking with Mette. She's very inspirational, and I'm sure that you are going to love her stories and love her wisdom and the passion she has for what she does. Enjoy. Welcome to the podcast. Today we have Mette Sorensen from the High Spirit Retreat in Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Australia. Yeah. Now, Mette, you are an expert in kahuna massage and lomi massage, and you are an educator and have been for a long time. What I'm going to ask for you is to introduce yourself to our wonderful audience. So over to you, if you want to just let us know what it is you do there at the High Spirits Retreat.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mainly we teach personal, spiritual development and bodywork. And so 30 years ago now, my husband Jorgen and I arrived with a suitcase, a massage table, and a dream.
Wow.
And then we're here 30 years ago now, and we have, I don't know, over 5,000 students all over the world, mostly in Australia, who practice kahuna massage and Heartworks Lomi.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. And you arrived in this country from where?
Yeah, from Denmark. So right across the road from the other world, where if I don't know if you know, but Mary from Tasmania, the Princess Mary, got married to our Frederick, and he's now king and she's now queen. So when that happened 15 years ago and now, it made me really connected even deeper to Australia.
Oh.
And I think Australia and Denmark have got some similarities, and then yet they're completely different and complementary of each other. Hence me loving living here and teaching the art of kahuna massage and also facilitation of that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's amazing. And yes, I remember, well, now Queen Mary. Yeah, I remember that 15 years ago, that happening.
Yeah.
Landmark event. It was really cool.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, awesome. So how about, I'd love to know a little bit more about the background, how you got into massage, and then we can maybe explore how you got into education, becoming a facilitator. Sure. So tell us, how did you begin this journey?
It really started when I was 12. My mother sent me and my brother to reflexology every week. And when I got home, I had asked so many questions. What does that mean? And what does that mean? And when it hurt, I wanted to know. And I was fascinated by how the body can be stored in the feet. And so I got home and then I started massaging everyone. So that's probably how I started, putting my hands on. And then there was a couple of years later, we're asked to do like a work experience. And all I wanted to do was massage people. So I ended up at a physiotherapist and worked with her for a couple of weeks. And I looked at the wall and there was like anatomy and physiology. And I said to her, do you have to learn the Latin? She went, oh, yes. And I went, oh, no, I can't speak Latin. So it sort of threw my confidence. So then in my studies, I then started studying language so I could learn some Latin, and I started sort of getting into those things. And along the way, I was teaching gymnastics and movement since 79, so I would have been 14 years. I've got my first certificate of anatomy and physiology, you know, so I was really young, and I was very blessed to teach, you know, movement and massage. And the massage part was really only the stretching of each other's bodies when we were sore, and it was at the end of class, I would lie them down and press the little bodies, and you know, yeah, so it's been part of my upbringing really. And then later down the track I did become a teacher, but I focused on teaching adults because I have a problem with systems. I'm dyslexic, I've worked out a bit later down the track. And so my style has been very intuitive and extremely holistic. I really believe strongly that we are so much more than just our body and our mind, which is most massage therapists understand that concept. So everything we do is based on body, mind, spirit.
Beautiful. And how amazing to have movement and massage just all your life, really. You know, it really is. It's like you've grown up with that as part of what you do. So yeah, I can understand that intuitive aspect.
Yeah, and then
We'll talk later about gymnastics, because
we can put that aside. But
put that aside.
Yeah. So, one night I was invited to this demonstration of Maori massage. And my close friend said, Mette, you got to go and see this. So we went and watched these people dance and massage with their forearms and hands. And I was like, wow. And the philosophy they were teaching were what I was teaching the unemployed adults that I was actually teaching at the time. And because it was Maoris, you can see we looked at the globus before, and if we look through from Europe, Denmark, and straight through the earth, you have New Zealand islands and the Polynesian islands. So I'm actually an islander. Denmark has, I think, 400 islands, but 100 of them I lived on. So I could very much relate to the Maori, you know, they've got the Maori energy, I've got the Viking energy. And so there was something about that tribal essence that I longed for in my journey. And so not long after that demonstration, I went and received it, and I was levitating and I was crying and laughing, and I had this out of body experience, and I thought, what are they doing? So then I learned, and then my teacher said, you have to teach this. I went, really? And so based on my background and my upbringing, I picked it up really quickly, and then I taught for some years on the side. And then my husband and I had this call from somewhere saying, go to Australia. And we went, okay. And then we landed here, and within 3 months, I had 14 students. So it was really one of those meant to be the whole time. Yeah, at one point in our 30 years here, we were government accredited, and we had all our dots and lines. And then because our education of kahuna massage is basically based on the certificate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, then they wanted to change the rules, and we then decided to pull back and say, look, we will lose our free spirit if we go that way. And then now we have so many students who already have remedial background or anatomy physiology. So they arrive just wanting to add on like an intuitive massage where they can navigate, I guess, the holistic aspect of it combined with whatever else they have. Or they come to learn this, and then they might down the track add on other things.
Yeah, fantastic.
All techniques.
Yeah, there's so much in there. I'm going to unpack it just a tiny amount. So the Maori massage that you saw demonstration just was so connective for you.
Yes.
That you went and had a treatment, blew you away. You were like, I've got to learn it. You started learning it. And then once you learned it, it was just the next step to teach it, is what I'm hearing and all that, yeah, which was amazing. And then moved to Australia. Was your friends and family in Denmark a little bit like, oh, this is an unusual move? Are you sure?
Yeah, when I met my husband, Jorgen, we really wanted to explore the world and just go traveling.
Yeah.
And I said to him, oh, look, I can just take my massage table and we'll see what happens. You know, I was already teaching in Denmark, so I said, okay, maybe I can pass it on to Australia. And our family and friends thought we would be away for a few years. My mum, I must say, she said, Mette, when we they set us up to the train station, or yeah, and my grandmothers were there and they were waving, she goes, I had this deep feeling she will never be back.
Oh, gosh. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
However, I'm blessed to travel each year back home, and we've kept contact with the students there. So every 2 years, I've been teaching in Denmark as well, and some of them have come over here to learn from us. So yeah,
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. I'm always interested as a person who also, not 30 years, but 20 years ago,
a long time ago.
arrived in Australia with suitcases,
Yeah.
and mine wasn't a massage table, it was a 6-week-old baby.
Really?
Yeah, really. So yeah, so that always interests me on a personal level. I'm like, oh wow, cool. So how did we get from the suitcases to the beautiful venue that you have there? I've seen the photos on the internet. I've never been. One day, Meta.
I'll invite you up.
Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. How did that happen?
My husband actually grew up on one of the Danish folk high school places. So that is a school for adults where we live together for 3, 6, 9 months, sometimes longer. It's like a lot of people use it as a gap year. So we live together, men, women, boys, girls, and his parents were teachers on a school like that. His mother was home economics and his father was into woodwork. And so when I studied to be a teacher, I went also that way and went, oh, one day I just want my own school. And so when I met him and I said, wow, imagine if he went, yeah, we can do that. So I'm so blessed with this man in my life. First course ever I had in Denmark. His sister was one of the students, and she's still teaching and traveling and massaging, and she's now 55 years old. And my mother was part of the course. And so I actually had 14 students. It seems to be the number back in Denmark, but I didn't have enough massage tables. So I said, oh, I haven't got enough. And he said, no, my father and I can make you that. So within the next few days, boom, I had magic 2 massage tables ready there. So, I'm really supported that way. So it has been part of our team dynamic is that we actually traveled for about 9 years in Australia with a little, what do you call them, people mover. And we packed everything. Jorgen made the massage tables and we packed the van and we drove around the Sunshine Coast and we went to Sydney every year and Melbourne and Tablelands and Rockhampton and just different places. And then it became a lot to pack the van and unpack and set up venue and that's when, we went to a point, I was like, oh, this is too much. And he went, yeah, now is the moment. And we'd saved money aside to build our own retreats. So, and now we're hiring out our own retreats so other people can use it.
Oh, so good.
The
It's
dream.
so good.
Yeah.
Amazing. I actually love that story so much. It's great. And you do have a beautiful venue. And yeah, we'll get details of, that's for hire for the right people.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's fantastic. I've been on your website, okay, and I've seen that there's kahuna and there's lomi. So can you help us understand what the difference is between those two amazing modalities?
Yes. Firstly, lomi in Hawaiian language means to knead and to squeeze and to push and to pull. So that's the massage bit, the lomi lomi. And so what is it they say? A dear friend has many names. And in Hawaii, the language, like in many other native languages, it has 9 layers of meaning. So it's more a vibration. You can't actually really translate kahuna, lomi lomi directly to the English language, which we would like to, you know. It's like, can you just say what that means?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. So it's like a way of understanding a vibrational language. So there are many styles of lomi lomi. And one of them is the temple style, which when I arrived to Australia, people said to me, "Oh, Mette, you're doing kahuna massage." Oh, or kahuna bodywork. I went, okay. So my English was very bad. I remember speaking and having to massage my jaws at, I thought I could speak English. I don't know about yourself, but the beautiful Aussie language, you know, yeah, mate, how's it going, love? How are you? And so I was like, oh, yes, thank you. I'm good. And I would answer the question at length, you know, we have arrived and I'm doing massage and la, la, la. It would just go on and on and on. And so what I learned is that there are the temple style massage, there's kahuna lomi lomi, there's, in fact, the Hawaiians have got, there's a kahuna la'au pa'au, which is kahuna of herbal medicine. There's kahuna na'au au, which is a kahuna of prayer. And so it goes on, and there's kahuna lomi lomi, and there's many different names. And so basically, when we used it, we have split the name kahuna or kahuna, because ka means keeper of or the, and huna is the spiritual, the secret. And then when you split the huna, you have hu and you have na. Hu is the masculine, outgoing feeling of the word, and na is the feminine, is the inward and the stillness. So without movement, you don't have stillness, and without stillness, you don't have movement. So it's very much like the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
So it's like the spiritual huna massage, you know. So we're having the name split. And then what happened in 2000 something, the internet went viral because we had, all of a sudden, people could write a book, and next minute it would go to the cells of the whole planet. So everything is shared out. So then we came into using of kahuna as 2 words, but when you type it, it become 1 word again. So it is very confusing. And the way we teach it is we say the kahuna is the temple style massage where we're using our forearms as an extension of our hands. And it's a holistic healing art massage. The lomi lomi is we teach the Hawaiian Heartworks lomi lomi. So that is the way of using our hands as an extension of the heart. So if you think about your heart, you know, when you're angry, what does your fists do? The heart is closed. And when your hands open up, you know, you're giving and you want to touch and you want to, that's the extension of the heart. So we're using, in Lomi Lomi, we call it the Heartworks Lomi Lomi. We're using the hands all in long flowing strokes on the body. Yeah.
Wow.
That's in brief.
Amazing, amazing.
In brief.
Yeah. It's
I
brief,
hope
yeah.
it makes sense.
But it does make sense. But for you know, there's 9 layers of vibrational language. Of course, it's a brief version. Yeah. What I get from that is number one, how beautiful. How beautiful, you know?
It's really beautiful.
Yeah, really beautiful. And I imagine there's a lot of therapists that, you know, that really speaks to them, speaks to their, you know, what we say, the head, the heart, and the hands. Yeah.
Yes, exactly that.
Yeah, it's all of that. Yeah.
And the combination, if you think about other modalities, sports massage, remedial massage, they're fantastic. And if you combine them with the Hawaiian style, which is a lot more trancey, Like it's more, you know, meditative. We aim to connect with the holistic part, the soul, knowing and understanding that your body is, I like to call the body is your gossiper. You know, so if you have tension in your shoulder and neck, what is that? Oh, this is my responsibilities. What if you have tension in your belly? Oh, it's your feelings. You know, I'm nervous, and maybe when I'm in love, oh, I also feel butterflies in my belly, you know. And when it's the legs, you know, it's like your transportation. So when there's tension in the legs, what's holding you back from moving on? And what about your arms? You know, this is what I'm embracing in life. So I'm communicating with my arms, but I'm also giving with my right and receiving with my left. So there's all of those symbolic ways of looking at the body. And that is what Australia is amazing at. You know, some will go, oh, Kookaburra is laughing. Oh, that means this and this. And if I said that in Denmark or Germany, they'll go, so how many strokes do you do that? And yeah, that's just a Kookaburra, you know. So it's the difference in culture, because I believe in all of that extra. However, I think the strength of our school is that we have the foundation, and we know that the physical, systematic, but you got to learn from the beginning, and then you add on more and more is part of the journey in learning. You can't just learn Hawaiian massage in 3 days. You know, it is a lot more than that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have often felt restricted by running workshops that are 1 day or 2 days. Yeah, it's a little overly simplistic sometimes.
We learn something in a few days. Believe me, that's, I mean,
Oh,
you
yes.
see that all the time. Or if you're already a therapist, you can add on something. Yeah, we last year we you know, went into offering all of our levels of kahuna, so people will actually get access to the demonstrations online as well. So that's something that I had 25 years ago. No filming. You have to learn to experience. You can only, but I understand the young generation have been, you know, learning that way as well. And so a combination is what I've agreed to do now.
Yeah, great. And I also do kind of think there might be a tendency, just the way that we got taught, especially that we have to be quite, with the processes and the qualifications, what you were saying before, you had all of that in place, and then the rules changed, and then it didn't quite align to what you wanted to present to your student, the experience that you wanted them to have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I really feel that one as well. I think sometimes with all of the regulations and things, there's a risk that we can throw the baby out with the bathwater, and lose that intuitive and spiritual, and
Yeah.
as you said, the healing art.
Yes.
I think there's a risk that we might lose that, but luckily we've got amazing facilitators like you helping people to develop that. I wonder, is it sometimes a challenge for students who are from a more analytical perspective to adopt the intuitive way?
The way that we teach is tailored to both I call them the first world, you know, where we have got structure in what we do.
Yeah,
Like a
yeah,
musician, you need to learn the guitar ABC first. So you learn first the steps, and then you learn the stroke of the leg, and then back, and then the arm, and so there is a structure to it.
yeah,
And there is aspect of the intuitive where we incorporate meditation, movement, different processes for personal and spiritual development. We learn through experience. So you're basically in nature, and so we get to do nature walks. We get to learn some of the aspects of the kahuna massage in nature, and we bring it back and we debrief it, and then we put it onto the massage table and into the way we have our posture. Yeah, so I guess working with body, mind, spirit, and being in nature will be the ancient way of learning with modern application. Yeah.
Love that
Yes,
combination.
they are talents. They will, where is the program? They want to know at what time do we do this and what time do we do that? And being here, we become on island time, we say.
Yeah.
But we do have a
But
program.
you know in your head, your teaching brain is like, okay, we need to spend more time on this, and then we can, go to the next thing that we're discussing in this day's agenda. But you'll know yourself with the people that you're helping learn where to wait your time and things. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You become a better therapist if you're challenged. So people who are majorly intuitive get challenged by having to do 10 minutes on the back and then 5 minutes on the leg or something, where that suits the other brain. It's like, yes, great, I can deal with this. So I guess the combination of having both will give people that challenge they need to grow and transform so they become a better therapist
Yeah. Yeah.
and a facilitator of healing.
Yeah, absolutely. And what would you, when therapists are coming into your classroom, what benefits are they looking to give to their clients? What benefits?
Well, I guess the benefit is long lasting. So we sometimes say that the Hawaiian healing is very dynamic and very flowing, and it's like a one dance, if you could say it that way. And so it makes the client drop in a very, very deep level. So they're longer lasting and often quicker results because you're not just poking with a finger into a shoulder, so to speak. But the combination, you learn to assess, okay, this client needs something today for the physical body. This client is going through grief, so they need something emotionally. This client maybe needs to be coming out of their head, excuse me, and into another realm to let go so they can understand their own intuition more. So I guess it's learning to take your client into that process
Yeah.
and work with that. And
Yeah.
our facilitators have been trained, like it's almost like an apprenticeship style. They're here for a year, 2 years, 3 years, up to 4 years of learning, so they become excellent at it as well, because it's not just a technique.
Yeah.
You'll know, don't you think, when you massage someone, all of a sudden they might leave their body and go, hello, come back, or they might cry or laugh, or so when we touch the human body with respect and intention, other things happen. Or they might ring you up and say, I don't know what happened, but I went home and I slept with the deepest sleep I've ever had. Or I cried on my way home, I had to stop the car and needed tissues, or I don't know, just healing happens.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
need to be able to facilitate for our clients that space of before, during, and after.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that. And I love that the benefit is a facilitation of healing on different levels. So whether it's physical, emotional, or psychological in terms of barriers or blocks that's stopping them from learning more about themselves. Yeah, yeah. And I imagine that as a therapist going and being open and learning about that then transfers to their own healing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, amazing. So cool. Oh, love it. Puts me in mind of some of my favorite teachers and how they teach. So I want to talk a little bit more about your facilitation and your education that you're doing with therapists and other people. What advice would you give to any therapist who would like to get into teaching?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I hear a lot is, oh, I'm going to teach now because I'm too tired of just massaging. So now I will start teaching. That's quite common. And that has a great value because, of course, there's a lot of experience to be shared. So then I find the way to teach is not just well, I know some people go, yeah, you just wing it, you just get out there and start teaching. And yeah, fair enough. I have seen that as a general in Australia, and I'm proud to say that I come from what happens in Denmark is that we sell education. So we're highly educated. We have to, you can't teach anything before you got this and this certificate and that study. I guess that's a long journey. But here I have actually seen people just start teaching. A few of them succeed and a lot of them don't.
Yeah.
So I'm very motivated by teaching people how to be an excellent facilitator of whatever skill they have. And that's, I guess, what I've been doing since the year 2000. I started teaching teachers to teach the Hawaiian Heartworks lomi lomi. And so we have, I don't know, over 160 facilitators who've been through that training. And a lot of them are already very successful. There is the Leanne, who you know, and there's Hazel, and there's also Catherine Walton, who now have island retreats. She's been teaching Heartworks Lomi Lomi, and we've got Nika on board, and there's lots of people who are teaching the Heartworks Lomi Lomi out there. And they're all very different. That's my point, is that they're all very different. Some teachers, like I'm an extreme extrovert, so I like to get out there, but then I work with people who are introverted to support the I guess the communication that way, because some people relate to being extroverted and some introverted. So to learn, who are you as a leader, as a facilitator, as a teacher, as a manager, that's my passion, is to support people in finding out, how do I get energy from passing on what I love, so that at the end of your retreat you will feel powerful and empowered, and you will see your students do the same. Because I guess you're also a mirror, you know, people look at you, and I can see some teachers, when they get tired, they get angry, or they get short, or they get bossy, or they get, you know, maybe tired or sad, and they can't remember, or whatever it might be. And so then they lose their audience, and people go, oh no, I don't like it, or I'm gonna have a break, or, you know, you don't have full participation from your students. So that's, I love to teach both group dynamics and both how to read the room, how to find out different learning styles, how to motivate in different ways. If the energy is high, how do we get it down? If the energy is up, sorry, if the energy is low, how can we do a quick little power nap to give energy back again and refocus? All of those things.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about it.
Yeah, I love that as well. I love it. Uh, yeah, I think when you are used to presenting either one-to-one or with groups, and with what we do at the Health Leader, we are running training all the time, whether it's online or in person. And it's so important to have the knowledge, the peopling skills, whether you're an introvert or extrovert. You're right. It's knowing who you are and how best to bring your best in order to bring the best out of others. It really is
Guys are my inspiration. You're excellent at it. You're like in front of my, like, who do you admire, because I see how you're really able to speak the future. You're able to help all the therapists thoroughly, grow their business and bring themselves out there. So yeah, I really appreciate what you guys offer.
Great. Yeah, thank you. And it's great that we do what we do, but also that healing art, that's something else. Yeah, it really is. It really is fantastic work. And to have been doing it consistently for the length of time that you've been doing it, Mette, it is fantastic. There's not many therapists out there who have done what you've done. Yeah. And you've got more strings in your bow than that, because I know that you've written a book as well.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your book.
Well, it's called Pass It On. So it's games and insights for therapists, for teachers, but also for managers to use both at home, at the workspace, and in their communities. And it's full of both strategies, or like little checklists, but also games and name games, because I believe when you create an atmosphere and you have a group together, it's really important to bond so that everyone can relax and move through the process, um, getting to know one another, instead of just going and putting a name badge on and there's a yeah, hello, and then once it's finished, it's over and you never see eye to eye. But how can we benefit from one another, create community, and connection is really important. And that it's a famous, what do you call it, like not a famous word, a little buzzword, the belonging. We want to belong. Yeah, and that's I grew up in a community that creates community. We're little islanders, we've got white skin, but we meet up, we sing songs. If someone is not well, we ring them up or send someone with a little bag of homemade buns, and we ring them up and sing a song or whatever it might be. And so that atmosphere is that Danish hygge, and that's what we create here, and that's based on that concept in the book as well. And I think Australia is really, I can see the last 20, 15, 20 years, more and more circles, more and more people are getting together, more and more knitting clubs, more and more singing clubs, more and more breath work. There's so many things where people are now getting together. And so when I see those processes being facilitated, I feel I've got something to offer because I've done it all my life. And I can see sometimes when I go to those that there is just not that connection. There's a little bit of a gap. Even in a yoga class, you go in, close your eyes, and some of the teachers, without judgment, their style is to close their eyes and do their thing. And I can notice in the room, it's like, no, you got to help this person over there, or someone is stuck. And, so I like to, how can you facilitate the room so everyone feels that they belong and they go out of there feeling great? And so that's my thing, so that's part of what's in the book, and definitely a big part of my teachings is how to be connected.
Yeah, I can imagine coming to your classroom and getting a sense of that philosophy. What was the word, the Danish word that you used? Was it
Hygge?
hygge? Hygge. What does that mean?
It's a concept about creating coziness and like lighting a candle, have a cup of tea. In Denmark, there's like, okay, when you finish sometimes the day or you've had a big week and there's conflicts, like I've got to practice myself because I work with my husband and we play together and we holiday together or separate. But sometimes we've got to go, okay, let's just put it aside, have a cup of tea, and everything just goes. And everyone just relaxes and we just have a good time, just for the sake of hygge.
Wow, I love that. I love that.
And just like, oh, let's exhale.
Yes, I love that. And, I mean, James and Alicia, they're a married couple. They work together. They have their life together. Yeah, so very much the same. And they also have little rituals that they can just, that's work. And yeah, so very much so. Yeah, fantastic. I love that. Hygge. Oh, remember that. In Scotland, we do like a wee cup of tea.
You've got a word for it, actually. It's not gra. No, that's Irish. That means love. There's something. I think there's a word in Scotland for that.
There probably is. There's so many different dialects and things. So yeah. I'll have to ask my mum. She's lived all over different parts of Scotland. Okay, so yeah, I mean, there's two more questions. I've got like a little success story that you might like to share. And if there's any sort of trends that you see happening or things that you'd like to see coming in the future, Mette. So I don't know if it's one of those you'd like to talk to more.
Yeah. I believe that Jorgen and I is the combination of that success story, back to we arrive with a suitcase, a massage table, and a dream. And to see people out there touching people, that domino effect is why I do what I do. it's not for the money, it's not for the, it really is because the love of it, you know. And so I just love teaching people how much more we are than just our body and our mind. So every time you have or give a kahuna massage, it's a completely different feeling every single time. You might feeling lackluster, a little down, and then you feel fantastic at the end, or you might feel, you know, tense or tight in body or mind, and then even by giving, you know. So I might have an issue that's going on and I put it aside. I say, I'll look at it later. And then when I've given my treatment or I've taught my class, I go back and I go, okay, where's the problem? Oh, there it is. And it's a lot smaller. So giving to me is receiving and healing. And receiving is giving. So if I'm a really good receiver, I also give to the therapist. So it's a lesson in letting go. And I see a trend of that holistic aspect, because we used to have kahuna massage on the menu of, you know, Hyatt and what are they called, all the different what are they called, the Olivia Newton-John's place, Gaia Retreat,
Yeah.
you know, Gwen Garner. And then what's happened over time is that they create their own rituals, but they're including the flow and they're including the chanting, the prayer, different tools. And so I guess being part of that evolution of making the bodywork session so much more than just a rub down is part of the success. And it's part of the trend is that, you know, you have now yoga, you have yoga lattes, you know, you have different names for different alternative aspect, what do you call it, different alternative therapies. So I guess that's the trend. And part of the success story is that I've been part of that. You know, I feel that when we started promoting and performing 2-on-1 massages, all of a sudden I was invited to some of the resorts and I taught the therapists. And then next minute, you know, there was the in-house training and they passed it on. And then there was the therapists that became drained because they were just taught for a day, and then they started coming back to learn properly through experience and the retreat experience. And so seeing that more and more retreats are out there. And so that's part of my facilitation, is how to facilitate people to run retreats, whether it's day retreats, small retreats, long retreats, for small or bigger groups. So yeah, I'm 60 next year, you know, so I'm an old person. I usually say, it's not very nice, but I say I'm an old fart in the game. So I like to be part of the new and the trend. And often it's not something that I've learned, but it's something I see evolve. So,
Yeah.
so that's, yeah, it's kind of a combination of seeing the evolution of everything. So bringing the old into the new.
Yeah, I love that. It's very cool, very cool. And to be able to even say that, yeah, I've been part of that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
nice.
it's nice, isn't
I
it?
like to, you know, leave some of what I've learned, you know, to other people so they can grow and take it further. Because, you know, one day I'm not going to be able to do as much as I do now.
Yeah, and you do so much. It's so much. It's there's a lot on offer at the High Spirit Retreat for sure.
So basically, we have the High Spirits Retreat where we say you come and get activated and motivated and learn skills. We actually have the Tivoli Retreat, which is our yin version, where you come to do the introverted, you get sedated, you learn yin yoga teacher training, and yeah, people get to stop and just receive. So there's that aspect of it. And it's also a venue hire there, which is much more eco-friendly and organic. And it's a very peaceful, serene, with a wood fire sauna and magnesium pool. And, you know, up here we have a European sauna and a saltwater pool. It's just a different concept.
That's great that they're, two halves of the whole, if you know what I mean. It's so beautiful. Oh, I love that.
practitioners are out there massaging in their own clinics that they've opened up. So that's also, a privilege to have been part of that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I think, is there anything else that you would like to say before we finish up for today? Any words of wisdom? Actually, I will ask you this question. How would a member of the public be able to differentiate, choose well a practitioner of kahuna or Heartworks Lomi Lomi? How would they be able to know it's someone that's been through your school?
We do have a therapist listing,
Yeah.
and there's a listing called Kahuna Australia. And we've also got the High Spirits Retreat website offering kahuna massage. So usually you will see Heartworks Lomi Lomi or kahuna massage, which is usually under our branding and banner.
Nice, nice. That's great. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure having a conversation with you. And I'm sure many therapists listening will be inspired by what you have shared with us today. So thank you very, very much for your time. And
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate what you guys do. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.